Menteri Rangba Kajela Konrad ke sang maha nyotri rempang ula ong ba Kajela kala shimi kisin jam ba per ban kyntiew ya ke jingiatreilang bat ke Japan da ka pentre kam ya ke jingadei ka baklan ha padeng ka India bat ke Japan. Nginge scam ha ke jingiatreilang ka baklan ka jingshania bat ke jingadei bat ke Japan. Menteri Rangba aduk jongi Narendra Modi ula shim ya ka wei pa ka wei ka sinjam ban pentikna ba ka nongrim bala seng ha padeng kini ki artali kiri kan aji mento ya baro ar kiri na ka benta ka yok ka kor bat ka roi ka par ong Konrad ha ba kren ha ka jingalang 5th India Japan conclave ka bala long ha ka nong ba Guwahati. Ula keduru ba ka jingyo I jingai jong Prime Minister kari kala penslur ya ka Meghalaya ban shim ka bu ya ka jingadei ka baklan bat ka Japan. Ngimdei ka jela ka bahe Henry ngidon la ka jong ka bor bat kilat kilinti ngila penlet jingmut ban jam syakman hala ka jong ka linti ngin sale ka to ka niki kam Henry ngile yaki da ka bajanai ula benram haba keren halor ka Economic Partnership Agreement EPA ka bathumbu ban Pynbna ya ka jingadei ha ka liang ka yok ka kot ha padeng kini ki artli ki rida ka bakentew yaki kam khai pateng bat ka jingwan ki kam bei tengka Chief Minister ula ong ba ka jela ka plilat iki samla bakin le sha hikai na ka benta ki lat yok kam yok jam ha Japan.
I've been very, I should say, firm believer of the strong partnership, the trust and the relationship between our two nations. And our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has taken every step possible to ensure that the foundations that were laid truly expand and become into huge opportunities where our two nations can really work with each other and at the same time economically prosper. And it is this relationship and trust and the efforts by our Honorable Prime Minister which has motivated states like ours and many other states to take the step towards improving that partnership at the state level also with Japan. I'm very, very clear in terms of the strategy for a state like ours. We're not a very big state, and there are certain areas of strengths that we have, certain opportunities that we have, and we would like to be very focused in the way we move forward. And hence, whenever we discuss about how Meghalaya should move forward, I'm very clear with my team that we will do few things, but we will do them well. For a year and a half, we have sent close to about 50 nurses, and we are now going to be in the pipeline itself. We have about close to 500 nurses who are learning Japanese as we speak, and I expect that these numbers will swell up to about 2,000 to 3,000, and maybe hopefully even 5,000 in the next 3 to 4 years' time. And that's the kind of focus with which we are working on the human resource aspect. And as we get comfortable with this entire process, I hope that we'll be able to expand our the areas in which they work from just nursing to other skills also. And we could be a very strong human resource provider for Japan. Just to share with you, Japan, of course, as we all know, has an aging population. Meghalaya is, India is young, and Meghalaya is even younger. So almost 45% of our population is below the age of 19. So that's how young we are. And there were a lot of kids. That's why music and football and sports is very popular in our state, and that's why as a government we are really focusing on that too. The second area which is very, very important for us is agriculture. And again, we have already started working in agriculture with a firm in Japan, and the location is in Miyagi, and the firm is called Yats Corporation Company Limited. And we actually have imported their machines which make the logs through sawdust for the shiitake mushroom. And we are only now preparing this. We have a massive program under the self-help group where we are supporting through the mission, mushroom mission we have, where these logs are being now given and training is being given, finance is being given. The people are being sent to Japan, to Miyagi to be trained. I will be going myself maybe in about 2-3 months time to Miyagi to further expand into what more could be done. So again, as I said, we are not a large state. The person is conceived in a mother's womb. The brain of the child grows 80% between the age of 1 and 8. The most important psychological impact that the youths that go through is between the age of 8 to 13, that's the adolescence age. And then of course teenage comes in. Now for us as a government and as a policy, as policymakers, we start thinking about the child only when they're in their teens and say, now metric exam has come, let's see whether they do good or not. And we don't realize that we have lost that period of time when they were 1 to 8, when their brain, the cognitive capacity, thinking capacity was growing. We need to invest in that. Meghalaya has a program called the Early Childhood Development Program, which we have tied up with the ADB, and we have got the Adolescence Program, which we have tied up with the World Bank, and both these programs are taking place. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this to you is that whenever I have read a bit from the Japanese, policy making and all, there's a lot of investment that is made by Japan in the younger days on aspects of value, principle, discipline, and way of life. And for us, we don't do that or don't realize it, only when things are going wrong. So I think there's a collaboration that should happen. We need to learn from how these aspects of discipline, principle, as I said, hard work, and respect for so many things. I think these are important aspects that we need to inculcate in the young generation from a very, very young age, especially when they are in the early childhood development, even before they start going to school. So rather than them starting to learn maths and science from class 3, 4, with the age of 4, 5, 6, I think these investments are important, and Meghalaya is doing it. We have just started. We're not saying we're far ahead. We're just starting. But I think this is one area I will be really focusing on, and I wish to really find a way in which we can partner to really bring up this entire system so that we're able to produce. So we have a very small population. But my idea being that our small state and our small population, if trained well, we can be as good as any big state or a big nation and be able to contribute much more. Just because we have less population doesn't mean we cannot contribute more. It depends on how we plan, how we focus, and how we build up our manpower and our human resource. And that's really what our target is. To move forward in that, because we feel we have put the foundation and the base. And I was just, I think our chairperson had mentioned about the nurses. And you'll be surprised that while the agencies and the teams that were there to recruit the nurses, we only had one nurse who had gone to Japan through that program. And when we dug deeper into it, we realized that our nurses or our citizens didn't have the money for the training program, which cost about $1.5 lakh. And the parents didn't trust those agencies. And the parents didn't want to send the children away so far. So we realized that there is a problem here, but government can intervene and resolve that problem. So that's when we had the job fair. We told the students and the nurses that we will pay for your training, which we have done. And we convinced the parents that we will ensure the safety of your children to the extent that I will go myself to drop them for the first batch, just to make sure everything is good.